So what we are discussing today is judicial reform. Are we looking at the changing face of Indian democracy? And joining me in the studio right now, Kalikesh Singh Deo, Lok Sabha MP from the BJD. We also have Vani Tripathi, the National Secretary of the BJP. And to give us the legal angle, Karnan and the Supreme Court advocate. So actually, Kalikesh, I'm going to start off with you on this. We're all scrutinizing what the Supreme Court had to say very carefully. And a lot of the arguments against the Supreme Court judgment yesterday, a lot of people are saying, in a sense, it's a good thing. I mean, we want the political system cleaned up, but they're also saying that there is a lot of potential for misuse, and we mean misuse democratically. What's your take?
No, I agree. I think anything done to clean up the political system is a good thing. And in many cases, Supreme Court has forced the hands of the political class to take that action. I think yesterday's judgment, which prohibits anybody in jail from contesting elections, I think that certainly can be misused. I mean, look at the scenario where a ruling party puts 50% of the candidates from the opposite party in jail just before elections, maybe on political causes also, maybe on drummed up causes. And you could actually prohibit half your opposition from contesting. So this can certainly be misused, and it has been misused. Let's not forget the emergency era where half the opposition MLAs, in fact 90% of the opposition MLAs were inside jail. So this is a real worry.
It is a real worry, but I think it also currently brings up, Vani, a slightly disturbing trend, which is that the Supreme Court feels that it has to, at this point, after what it did in 2002, take this action because it is an increasing concern that people with criminal records are in positions of power.
See, Kajori, if you look at the, the whole makeup and the setup of the Indian Parliament, there are various people who have records which could be called criminal or which could be called involved in crime, of some sort or the other. But we will have to make a clear distinction as to what is politics of vendetta and what is actually somebody being involved in criminal activity. Well, as far as electoral reforms is concerned, I think across party lines, most leaders have gotten together and have said, including the BJP, we need electoral reforms. Any judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court which actually points towards probity in public life is always welcome. But as Kalikesh just now mentioned, we've seen, for example, the robust federal democracy that we are. Sometimes the government of the state is different from the government which is sitting at the center, and at election times these can be used for vendetta. So there is a lot of questioning, a lot of ramifications which are attached to this judgment. We need to read between the lines, and we also need to see whether cases against politicians, there has to be, after all, some kind of mechanism which also cleanses the system in a way which is free and fair and transparent. The spirit of the Supreme Court is very clean, very clear. Yeah. But we will have to read the judgment. We will have to see what the Honorable Supreme Court wants to say and how it will be read further on. After all, we have elections very soon. This shouldn't become an election agenda issue.
Right. Karna, we've been talking about, I think as Vani said, that the spirit of what the Supreme Court said is in fact a positive one. Where do you see it standing on a larger sort of legal basis? Do you think that there need to be clarifications? Do you think there need to be nuances which have to be derived from this judgment?
I think none of us have actually seen the judgment yet. No. So this is all somewhat speculative. At the same time, what has been reported from what the Supreme Court, just articulated in court, which would have been, somewhat limited, is that, to look at it in a legal fashion, to be clear that the Supreme Court is looking at who can vote under the existing law, under the Representation of People Act, and they're looking at who can stand for election. So what they've done, reportedly again, is that they have put the people who can stand for election on par with the people who can vote. Now, the problems that I think a lot of people are apprehending, not just Kalikesh and others, but also, a lot of people who will be watching this program,